Hello my tarot friends, welcome. Today we are going to be looking at the Witch's Cat Tarot that was kindly sent to me by the Watkins Publishing. This deck is such a fun, whimsical, and surprisingly very deep and witchy and pagan deck. At the end, after we go through the cards and I share with you how I see every card and how messages come through intuitively. Also, we're going to look into the guidebook, of course, for certain cards. I'm going to also share with you the two decks that they sent to me without me knowing they're sending them to me. So I was really excited when I opened the package. And this is the Witch's Shadow Work Oracle, which I've seen a lot on Instagram, so it's very popular and there's a reason why. And there's also a new release from them, the Unicorn Path Oracle deck, which is a very different unicorn deck. And I'm going to show you the cards from these two decks later as well. But now let's firstly look at our tarot deck. So the Witch's Cat Tarot. This deck was created by Tree Carr and illustrated by Sonia Prull. Secrets, guidance, and spells from our feline familiars. And it's funny because I've been working with this deck for a few weeks now, and it literally feels like talking to my cat familiar, which I actually don't have yet. I really want a cat, but I feel like I'm connecting to the spirit of that cat already. Does that make sense? So yeah, it's really, really delightful, this deck. So these are the backs. It comes in this really cool box. I really like this box because it protects the cards and it's not too large. The cards themselves are, I would say, a bit shorter than a standard tarot size deck and a bit wider. They are glossy, but it is a nice gloss. It's not that sticky gloss. It's like not very slippery, perfectly slippery, I'm going to say. This deck is color-coded. We are going to go through cards very, very soon, but I just wanted to share that it's color-coded, and I love that. I love color-coded decks. So I've been enjoying this deck so much. Like, I read for myself, I read for others. It has a humorous side to it. It has a deep side to it. It's also very pagan and witchy. And I'm going to show you the guidebook because the guidebook is something that really stands out in this set. Like, I mean, the cards are amazing and you can read them just like knowing your Rider-Waite-Smith system. But the guidebook takes it even deeper. And I'm going to say that every single card has symbols on it that perhaps you wouldn't even consider because it is such a cute deck, if that makes sense. But actually, single thing on it has a purpose and a meaning, and it is described in the guidebook, and I love that. So I'm going to show you that. But just quickly, the guidebook has a table of contents, and it has, of course, introduction, and then it talks about the card suits and the different namings of the cards. So we have a few cards in the Major Arcana that are changed. So the Fool is the Bold Kitty, High Priestess is the High Feline, the Hermit is the Cave Cat, the Strength is Catnip, which is hilarious, Death is 9 Lives, which is also really funny. And then it talks about how they changed the suits. So the Pentacles are the paws, but it's very easy because it's color-coded. So they're green, the Cups is the whiskers, they're blue, the Swords is the claws, they're purple, and the Wands are the tails and they're orange. So it's very obvious what are you looking at, even though the suits are changed, okay? And then not only that, we have the royal cards are changed. So the Apprentice is the Page, which makes sense. The Witch is the Knight, which also makes sense to me. And then we have the Sage and the Crone. Now the Sage is actually the King and the Crone is the Queen. So the Sage comes first and then the Crone in this deck, which is really interesting. So we have King and then Queen is kind of like on top, which it makes sense to me, like when you think about the maiden, mother, and crone energy, the crone is the one that is the most mature, and the crone has the most wisdom, I'm going to say. So that makes sense, right? Okay, and then not only that, the author also connects the crones and the sages to different Sabbats in the Wheel of the Year, and also to different seasons, right? So winter solstice, so winter is connected to paws, which are pentacles. Then we have spring is connected to claws, which are swords. Summer is connected to tails, which are wands, and autumn is connected to whiskers, which are cups. Here you can see different royal cards connected to different Sabbats. And then if we go, here we have how to use this deck, getting started, setting intention, daily guidance, focus readings, using the spells. Yes, we have spells in this deck, which is incredible. I love that. How to deepen your practice and trusting the process. Welcome to the Witch's Cat Tarot, secrets, guidance, and spells from our feline familiars. Let the magic begin. It is a very magical deck. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you would think, you get this deck and you think, oh, it's cute cats. No, but it's more than that. It's literally one of the most witchy decks that I have. Like, I have decks that have actual witches in them, and they're less witchy than this deck that has cats. So it is really, really cool. You know what? Let's look at, instead, everyone looks at the Fool. Let's look at the Magician instead. So in the Magician card, we see that we have the symbol for Mercury, right? Because it is connected to planet Mercury, which I really love. I love that we have that. We have, of course, number, the name, Magic Cat. And look here, we have also Mercury on the potion here. And then we have meaning for, so this is for every cat. This is for every card in Major Arcana. You would have this and the spell. The spell, we don't have any spells for Minor Arcana, but we have spells for Major Arcana, which is really cool. Okay, so we have a meaning. So Magic Cat is manifestation, willpower, mastery. Message, manifest your goals. Keywords, life reboot, focus, wizardy. Astrology, Mercury. And then we also have numerology, which I love that because I love numerology. So one is beginnings, new chapter, and self. And then we have a little title. Unsure of your abilities, Magic Cat will turn them into poor abilities. Oh yeah, and you have lots of language playing in this language play. Is that what it's called in this deck? Like poor abilities. It's really funny. Like, it's deep, but it's funny. It's like it explains the meaning of the cards in a very humorous and accessible way, but also very witchy. And I feel it would be a really great deck for the beginners who are starting their magic journey in witchcraft, I'm gonna say. So yeah, okay, so this is basically me. This deck is for me. Okay, so I'm gonna read you this one because so you get a taste. So you can also read it yourself if you wanna pause here. But yeah, it says, Magic Cat blends spiritual and earthy energies to manifest the reality of his dreams. As a symbol of intention, skillfulness, and inspired action, he reminds us that the universe provides everything needed for transformation. His magical books that represent knowledge, the candle, which represents creativity, and the rosemary and lavender, which represent protection and calm, support him on his journey, while the infinity sign and Mercury symbol emphasize the law of attraction and cosmic communication. Magic Cat encourages you to recognize your inherent power. If you've been doubting yourself, his presence urges you to focus your intention and align with universal energies to create life you desire. Whisker your way into astrology, alchemy, and magic, and remember that clear intention and determination lead to great achievements. Let Magic Cat guide you in mastering your potential and manifesting your dreams with persistence and clarity. Do you see? Persistence and clarity. And then we have a spell. Magic Cat's manifestation sigil spell. Cast the spell to manifest your desires. You will need a candle, a pen and paper, a bay leaf. So first, light the candle and focus on intention to manifest your desire. 2. Write the word of intention on a piece of paper, for example, love. 3. Prepare sigil by removing all vowels and repeating constants. For example, love is L and V. 4. Use these remaining letters to draw a design on the bay leaf. 5. Hold your bay leaf sigil and speak your intention aloud, saying, I manifest my intention, so may it be. 6. Place your manifestation sigil on your altar and blow out a candle. Oh my god, love this. This is so good. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, so we have this for every major arcana, and then in minor arcana, for example, 6 of claws, we still have meaning, message, keywords, element, and numerology, and then it explains the card and a little message about the card. And we also have little gray pictures for every card, which is also very helpful. So this little guidebook is amazing. And then at the end, we have a little bit about the author and about the illustrator, acknowledgement from author and acknowledgements from the illustrator, and that is it. Okay, let's go into our cards now. Now I decided I'm going to show you today. I'm not going to go through every single card separately, but I'm going to show them in force. So you can see how colors pop and the progression, I'm going to say, of the cards. At the end, I'm going to show you how they shuffle as well. It is a glossy cardstock, but it is a nice gloss. It's not the annoying gloss that sticks. It's a very, very nice gloss. They shuffle beautifully overhand, but they are a bit too thick to riffle shuffle, unfortunately. So if we look at our Fool, we have a lot of yellow, which is positivity, right? We have the sun. He has also the sun necklace around he. I say he and she as it comes. It's they, you know, it can be any gender, which is amazing as well, the cats. So they have a little sun necklace around their neck. They have their pouch and their stick, and I love they have the moon on the stick. We have the turtle, and we have the what is it? I think it was basil that represents love. So it feels very inspiring and optimistic, and they're looking out and they're thinking they're gonna start something new, right? Then we have the magician. I love how serious he is and I love that it looks like an older cat. I also like that their hat kind of reminds me of those Marseille decks of the hat that the strength card has, and it automatically reminds me of the lemon skate symbol. Is it lemon skate? The infinity symbol. I love that we have purple because it feels very magical, right? The purple is alchemical color, really, because you put together the blue and the red, which is water and fire, and you make purple, right? So that's very alchemical, and I really like that. We have potions. He's clearly manifesting, and he's very focused, right? And that's something, you're focusing your will to manifest things. And I love that he's manifesting is like he's envisioning, and it's not already there, if that makes sense. Because the magician is not about the result of manifestation. The magician is the intent behind the manifestation, if that makes sense. Okay, and then we have our high feline, which is the high priestess. I love look at her face, it's so funny. And I love that she's a black cat, because black cats are very mysterious and very magical, at least to me. Like, I always wanted to have a black cat because it's very witchy to me. I don't want to say that other cats are not magical, because they are, all cats are magic, but this one, but the black cats, to me personally, specifically, are very magical. Anyhow, so I love that they chose a black cat for the high priestess. I love that she has a crystal ball, that she has all these purples around her, because purple is also related to the crown chakra, right? And crown chakra is all about that higher connection to the higher self, right? The high priestess, the high feline, is your higher self. We have crystals here. We have the all-seeing eye. I love that. And then we have the goddess cat, which is the Empress. I love that we have our symbols here. We have the heart pillow. We still have the Venus symbol. We have Venus symbol in the corners as well. Here we have the moon, right? Because it's connected to the moon, the high feline. And it's interesting choice that we have sunflowers here. So I'm going to just have a peek into our guidebook. We also have traditional wheat, and we have the 12 stars there, which is amazing. We have a bumblebee as well, which is really nice, because bumblebees are very active, right? So it's active creation. Let's look what it says for the goddess cat as what the flowers represent. I'm curious. Okay, it says surrounded by the sunflowers. Oh, it's connected to summer solstice. That's why we have sunflowers. See, every single thing on this card has a meaning, and I love it. I love that so much about this deck. And I love that she's very puffy, because she reminds me of that what are those cats? Are they Siamese cats? The ones that are like very luxurious cats, basically. The one with flat faces. Yeah, so these are the first 4 cards. Do you see the bold colors? They're so lovely. I love that. Okay. So here we have our chief cat, which is the emperor. And he does look very... Look at him. He looks very satisfied with what he has, right? And we know that the emperor is someone who is the boss, right? And look at his fancy crown. And I love that he's holding, instead of the sphere, he's holding like a ball of the knitting ball. I don't know what it's called. And he still has the key to life, and he's on a fancy pillow. Let's see if, oh, look, the Aries symbol there as well. I love that he's wearing red because it's related to Mars, right? So yeah, so he's holding an ankh, which is a life force. ball of yarn, that's what it's called, and it represents interconnectedness and growth. See, how cool is that? Interconnectedness and growth, which reminds us that even though we set the structure and the boundaries in the Emperor card, it's also important that we cross those boundaries and grow and expand, right? Oh, and look at that. Wearing a dark velvet cape, Chief Cat reminds us of the shadow side of the leadership, avoiding egotism and toxic authority. Wow, so you see, it's very, very deep, this deck. Okay, let's go to the Sacred Cats. The Sacred Cat is our Hierophant. I love that the cat is in the clouds and it looks like someone who is blessing those little kittens there, the angels. And we have 2 keys, of course. It just feels very holy and high there, if that makes sense, high above, like higher authority, you know, which is something that we connect the Hierophant to. The kittens are the lovers. Oh, so cute. I love that we have a black and white cat because it talks about opposites coming together, right? And they look very happy and they're blessed by the sun at the back. And I love the little hearts on the plant. And oh, there are cherries at the back. Let's see if it says what cherries represent. It actually says that one cat represents yin, and which is receptive energy, and the other one is yang, active energy. And it's illustrated how two energies create a whole. The sun is joy at the background. And then it says, oh, see, surrounded by Hoya plants known as the sweetheart plant, they emphasize soul connections and unconditional love. Cherry blossoms and ripe cherries signify sensuality, fertility, and rebirth. These cards are much deeper than they seem at first glance. They look cute and adorable and just like, oh, I just want to scream because they're so cute. But actually, if you stop and actually look at the cards and what is on the cards, they're going to give you very deep meanings. And they can make heavy readings less heavy as well with their cuteness and adorableness. Oh my God, is that a word? Anyway, Chariot Cat is on a broomstick. How cool is that? I love the wings there because the wings talk about balance, right? You need to use both wings simultaneously and with the same force and everything. You need to balance them. You need to balance the energies between the 2 wings in order to move forward, which is really cool. I love that there's still connection to the celestial, right, with the stars there and with the moon and the stars on its on its wand. I love that it's focused in one direction. This one can be read very directionally as well, which I really like. And we have plants and everything that mean things. So I can't just stop for every card and read you that because you should get your own deck to do that. But I just want to say that there's a meaning behind every little thing. We also have the Cancer relation here, which is great. Catnip is our strength. She's so adorable. Look at her. Oh, I love that. And of course, with catnip, we know that catnip really affects cats, right? Catnip attracts cats, right? And it makes them a bit crazy. So you have to have a very strong willpower. You have to have strength within you to pull away from it, if that makes sense. So that is a brilliant card. Cave cat. I love it. Look at the little candle. He's in the darkness. I love the purples as well because connection to the crown chakra again. The wheel of feline. I love it. Oh my gosh, look at the symbols on the wheel, right? So we have lavender, which of course tells you that you need to calm down when the things are changing and center first. Second, I love that we have the moon because it represents the moon phases, right? So different stages in life or cycles, natural cycles, going with the cycles of nature. And then also we have little symbols in here. So we have, like I said, triple goddess, the moon cycles. We have the clover for the luck. We also have the horseshoe that represents luck. We have dice that represents chance, right? Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and sometimes you can't control it. And then we also have a pentagram here, which I'm going to check what represents because I'm curious. And I think we have eggs there. Probably represents fertility, I'm not sure, or digestion period. Let me see what it says. There. A pentacle represents elemental balance. Oh, this is cat treats. Okay, so cat treats represent abundance. Dice represents destiny. And a 4-leaf clover represents hope. Okay, cool. All right. And then we go to the court cat, which is our justice. Oh, love it. Love it. I love that we have the sun and the moon, so the two opposites and balancing them. And then we also have a plant here that definitely represents something. I love that she's pink because pink is related to heart chakra, like higher heart chakra. So unconditional love, which is something that Jesus would use, right? I love that. There's so much deep meaning behind it. It's like it talks about forgiveness to me as well. And I love that we have that square inside of the crown. So we have square and circle as well, right? So that's two opposites. And we have Libra signs here. So we have pinks and blue. And blue is about communication. And pink, like I said before, is about higher heart chakra, which is unconditional love. So we can go really deep with colors as well if you want to. That's another thing. If you want to, you can add your own color meanings, whatever you associate colors with, to these cards. And that's what I like about color and intentional color usage in the cards, because here it feels that the colors were chosen very intentionally. And here we have our catnap, which is the hanged one, right? So we have the connection to, oh my goodness, what is this? Water, but it's not, it's Neptune. So they connected it to Neptune. Usually it's connected to the water sign, but that makes sense. Neptune connects to water sign as well. The Pisces, I believe. So catnap has oak leaves, and to me it tells me how, like, it's so deep actually. So oak leaves, we have green and orange brown ones. So that talks about patience, and leaves, you know, they start green and then it takes time and the seasons then take them away. But at the same time, something falls away, right? The sacrifice of the leaves. But what that brings is the fruit, or the nuts here in this case. So that is really cool. I love that. And I love how this cat is actually happy hanging there. 9 lives for the deaf is amazing. And look at those cats. I love the skull. Oh man, I love this one. I love it so much. And it really stands out as well because it's very dark. Like the cave cat as well stands out because it's dark. And then Zen cat for the temperance card is lovely. Like we have the symbology. We have the sun here. We have the moon at the back. We have a triangle that's pointing upwards, which represents the spiritual realm. We have the lotus, which represents that no mud, no lotus as well to me, which means that no hardships, through hardship we then really are reborn into something higher, right, and beautiful. And it's connected to the Sagittarius, which is great. I want to peek what it says here actually. The lotus flower represents awakening, is showing you that even in the muckiest waters, beauty and enlightenment can flourish. The triangle, here the triangle represents fire, okay? Glowing behind them, and the alchemical glyph gold on their forehead both hint, it's not the sun, it's gold. I didn't know that. Both hint at the magical process of transmutation and purification. And I love that because the temperance card to me is the alchemist. It's not the magician. To me, the magician is the will and the idea, what you want to manifest, and mental process kind of. And then in the temperance card, that actually physically happens, right? So I love that. I love that. So we have fire and water represented in the card, which is great. Maybe if the triangle was orange, it would be more obvious that it's that type of message behind it. They bask in the light of full moon, representing your journey towards balance and completion. Zencat reminds you to turn that self-care dial all the way up and embrace the calm, letting your inner peace radiate like a soft purr. It is time to get your zen on and snuggle up for some pure kitty bliss. I love this guidebook. It's so great. It's so great. It brings that deep level to each card. And then we have the devil card. And it's interesting because in this devil, we do not have 2 subjects to the devil, which is interesting. But, I can read this for 100%. I feel like this devil card talks more about that power because he's this cat is on a pedestal, right? So it's kind of like maybe ego driven. So we have the tower, the cosmic cat, and the lunar cat. The tower with the with the books, and the cat breaking the books is so cool because the books are full of knowledge. So it's kind of like everything you've known, it's been torn apart and broken. And we have like a little lighting bulb, we have broken cup, we have potions being what is it called? Potions being spilled. We have the moon and the moon and the sun here, which is very interesting. And we have the candle burning, which is, I feel like, internal will through this process. Really cool. The cosmic cat. Oh, I love this. So cute. And she's like, it's like, oh, like the cosmos, the stars are like the blanket. You know, the blanket brings warmth and it brings comfiness. Like it brings that comfort back in the stressful times. And then the lunar cat is our moon card, which is very lovely as well. Let's see what it says about symbology. Just the numerology for lunar cat, it says 1 + 8, because it's 18, right, equals 9, which is reflection, wisdom, and peak. Challenged by anxiety and fear, relax. Lunar cat is here. Lunar cat is a mystical guide to the dream world, intuition, and the realms of the unconscious. She sleeps peacefully on a crescent moon with a spring of mugwort, which represent dreams, in her paws. The moon glyph marks her forehead to symbolize her devotion to guiding you towards transformation and healing. Holding on to old emotional baggage, Lunar cat wants you to let go of shadows lurking in your unconscious, diving deep into your dreams, feelings, and intuition to unlock your true potential. With Lunar cat as your playful dream guide, snuggle up in your coziest spot and dive into dream work, meditations, and reflective journaling. Release fears, trust your feline instincts, and face your inner world. Like a curious cat exploring every nook and cranny, you're destined to uncover the treasures within. That is really lovely. It is about shadow work, but in a lighter way. It's more like letting go of things that are holding you back to create your magic. It's more magical, I feel, this lunar cat than the traditional moon card. And then the last three in our major arcana, our last three cards, we have the solar cat, which is the sun, beautiful, warm, radiating life force. We have the sunflowers again, which is cool. And we have 3 sunflowers and 2 leaves, which is interesting. And then we have ascension cat, which represents judgment, which is cool because a lot of people read that card as awakening, which makes sense. So the cat is ascending, right? They're going on another level of their conscious. And then we have the window perch. And if we look and compare the window perch to our fool cat, which I just realized the connection between these two cards, it's great because the fool card and the world card should be connected. And look, it's our same cat again, and it's in the same position. And now here was the sunrise, the morning, and here now it's the evening, right? It's like the end of the journey. And look at the plant. Here was small and just starting to grow, and here is now fully grown and rich and big. And the turtle here was baby turtle, and now here the turtle is old and wise. How amazing. Oh my goodness. And look, the tree here was small and now here is big and blossoming. Isn't that something amazing? Oh, I love that. I love that. So these were our major arcana. Now I'm going to go through the aces, twos, etc. together so we can see the differences between the cards, or maybe some things are similar to the cards. So here are our aces. We can see the similarity to all aces is that they're all in the clouds, which is really cool. So that is something that you can look out for, because there are cats in all the cards, right? But that's how these stand out. So our ace of tails is holding a fire wand, which is really cool. And we have a little salamander here, which is really sweet. Ace of whiskers is holding this beautiful cup. And I love that we have triple moon here. And we have a fish and a star. And then the ace of claws. Look, it's so windy. I love it. It's playing with a feather. And he has one claw out. Because it's like ace is one claw, right? And then ace of paws. He's holding one paw up. And he has a bouquet of flowers and his little potion here. I would say from all the aces, the ace of paws is the least obvious ace. Because they all have like a thing, right? But he only has a paw up and he holds a bouquet, which is not... To me, it would be better if it was a seed, maybe. It would make more sense. Oh, but it's poppies. Rub that off because there are poppies. And the poppies, there are seeds in here. So I take that back, actually. See, you need to pay attention in these cards because there are details there that can be very easily missed. I love the color coding in this card so much. I love how we have a plan here. And we have the what is this called? I forgot what it's called, but you observe the stars, I love that. So it's like planning, preparing for the future, but also including your astrology in that, in the planning of the future, which is really cool. Oh, two whiskers. Look at these two kittens. Love it. I love that we have the water lilies. I love that we have a full moon. I love that both white. It's kind of cool because it feels like what you give is what you get energy. So it's kind of harmonious in that way. We don't have the opposites, but we have like, they blend into one. Does that make sense? Two claws we have. This cat has two claws out, which is hilarious. And I love how it's like windy. Do we have water? We don't have any water, no, there is water. Is it? I'm not sure. Okay, maybe that's water in the background and that's fog. It could be. But yeah, it's very traditional looking, makes sense. And then two paws. This one is really cool because the cat is playing with runes, and these runes each mean something. So I'm going to read you what these runes mean. So the cat is in an enchanting herb garden where she lies belly up on basil leaves, which represent love, juggling 4 rune stones. Berkana, which represents birth, Hagalas, which is transformation, Uruz, which is strength, and Inguas, which is creation. Interesting. And we have a pumpkin here, which is like abundance, right? Because 2 of Pentacles is about that, having abundance, but having that much abundance can also be challenging, right? Because you need to set your priorities. Wow, 3 of Tails. So they are I feel like they are already in the desert, but they are looking and envisioning how they're going to get to wherever they are, wherever they want to go to, which is very interesting. And I love that we have 3 cats. There's another deck called the Slow Throw that has 3 people and 3 of Wands, which is very interesting. 3 of Whiskers, we have these 3 mermaids, and they all represent different things because they have different color tails. So this one represents creation, this one represents love, and this one represents, I think, something to do with spirituality because it's purple. And then this rune also represents something. But I love how they coming together and they're playing with this crystal ball together, which, you need to trust each other to do that. And they look like they're playing because they're smiling and they have wide open eyes. This 3 of Claws is hilarious. I love that we have 3 claws here as well. And the 3 of Paws, I love how these 3 cats are tending to this. I forgot the name of this flower. I can't remember. But I know that these flowers, because I had them, are really hard to look after and they can die really easily. And they all died when I had them. So I looked after them. I don't know what happened. But yeah, they're not easy to maintain. So these 3 kittens are trying really hard to make them blossom and grow. Okay, our 4s. So we have, oh, look at that. 4 of Tails looks like some sort of ritual, which is amazing because it's very spiritually connected. It's grounded. Yeah, I love connecting 4 of Wands to spiritual practices and to connection to the universe and feeling spiritually grounded, if that makes sense. Spiritually secure. 4 of Whiskers is very different, right? Because 4 of Whiskers is 4 of Water or 4 of Cups, which usually represents boredom or not being content with things. But this cat actually took a break to deepen whatever she's feeling, which is very interesting, and to write and to journal about it. And then from that space to plan what is next, right? To then expand, which is very different. And I love it. I love this 4 of Whiskers. 4 of Claws looks really content with 4 claws out and with her lunar moth there. It's, oh yes, it is it doesn't look like it, but it's actually I think in a yogic position. So that represents that type of meditation and spiritual practice, which is amazing for the swords. And then we have 4 of Paws. We have this little kitten lying down, playing with her little bow flowers. Let's look at the 4 of Paws. Because 4 of Paws and 3 of Paws, I'm not gonna lie, look very similar, but they make sense because I remember I was reading it before and I was like, okay. 2 of Paws and 4 of Paws look very similar, but then again, 2 and 4 numerologically are connected, so that makes sense. So for 4 of Paws, what we have here is she's holding the runestone. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce this. It says it represents resistance. Rest in her paw while the pentacle coin, Earth, sits on her forehead. Guard your goodies, but remember, pearls are sweeter when shared. And she's holding spoils, mystical herbs, swept straight from the Witchy garden. All right. So she has her, her goodies. And usually we see someone holding pentacles. Her goodies, because it's a witchy deck, are these herbs, right? So that makes sense. And then we have extra meanings for these two, which is okay. It makes a lot of sense, right? That's why I'm saying this guidebook is very needed, although you don't really need it, but I think it provides so much more details for the cards. Fives. Oh, I love the fives. I love the five so much. This one makes complete sense enough that we have Mars there. This one, oh, look at that. She's crying over all those spilled potions, but then there's so many in the back. And look at that. We have Cancer, we have Scorpio, and we have Pisces here, which is all the water signs, right? And if I'm not mistaken, Five of Whiskers is connected actually to one of the Scorpio deacons. And then we have Five of Claws. Look at that. This looks like this is our cat from the High Priestess, and she turned dark, and now she's using a doll and a spell where you hurt someone by, it's like a what is it called? A dark spell? I'm not sure. But it's dark magic, basically, where you use like a puppet to hurt someone, right? And she's doing that. And that's not very nice, is it? So it's a perfect representation of Five of Claws. And then Five of Paws. Look at these two cats crying over their flowers that stopped growing. But this one is at the back, like saying, hey, there's another flower that is alive here. If you just turn around and you'll see it. And I love this lemon skate here as well. Lemon skate. The infinity symbol here as well. It's kind of like what goes around comes around. Love it. And Bezo represents love, right? So that's nice. And here we have our sixes. Oh, I love this. Look at this Six of Tails. Definitely recognition, but you could also go into the dark side of it when your ego takes over and your fame or whatever goes into your head. So that's really cool. It kind of feels like, yes, these cats are kind of, they cherish this cat, but at the same time, it feels like this cat is becoming a cult leader. Does that make sense? Six of Whiskers. Oh, I love this. They're giving each other gifts. And look at that on the bottom. What is that? I want to look into the guidebook because it looks really sweet. And it also feels like these two are from the Two of Cups, which is great, which is really great. One offers the other a spiral shell symbolizing the return of what we give tenfold in abundance. The other kitten wears a collar with a triquetra, I'm not sure how to pronounce this, representing the cycles of life. Growth and interconnectedness, surrounded by a crystal grid, amplifying clarity and emotional balance, they soak in the sun's blessings. Wow, isn't that wonderful? So it's like being in the present moment, but also could be about thinking when the things were like that. Six of Claws, look at that. It has like 6 marks on their back. And we have like butterflies leading them into a better time. And here we still see someone who's been hurting them, right? Those six claws here. And we see those branches here which look really scary. That's lovely. I like that. And then we have our 6 paws, which is giving and taking. So this cat here, which looks older, is giving these 2 small kittens, which look younger, some seeds, I suppose, to plant, right? They're sharing something with them, which is sweet. And I love that we have lemonscape, is this our magician cat? Oh, it could be our magician cat. That's really cool. So I feel like there are characters in this deck that come forward in different cards. That's amazing. I love that. The 7s are one of my favorite cards in the tarot because they are magical but also very challenging, but in a way where it shapes you, you have to go through these challenges in order to be shaped as a person. Does that make sense? Okay, 7 of Tails. Look at that. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. This cat is like, stop, and is gathering all the power to protect themselves from these kitties that are like attacking them. Really cool. I love it. And it kind of reminds me of that 3 of Wands we saw before. Wait a second. Oh my gosh. Look at that. This looks very similar, doesn't it? It is that cat is now one of these cats. actually came here and now they are there, but they need to protect what they believe in, or, you know, their territory, whatever they're protecting. Okay, 7 of Whiskers. This is so cool. We have the third eye here. So 7 of Cups is about reflection, right? Look, reflection, because you have options in which direction you could go. You're dreaming where it could be, what it could be. You have options in front of you, or you think you have your options, but in any case, you do need to reflect. You need to go within and then decide what you really want to do. And I love how they're using this to choose where they want to go. And they kind of see themselves in the future, right? With this on the triple goddess symbol on their forehead. That is so amazing. I love that. 7 claws. Oh, this is too funny. Oh my God, look, they're leaving the trail of things that they stole as well. Oh, that's so funny. And 7 of paws. I love that. It's so sweet. And she has like what is this called? The thing when you sew. Is it sewing? I don't know what it's called. When you cut things away, right? So she is kind of tending to her garden and thinking what needs to go, what is ready to be cut off, because some sunflowers are ready and some are still growing, right? So that's really cool. We also have other posts here, and I think it talks about collaboration with others in this card, if I'm not mistaken, which is very interesting. Okay, so here we have our 8 of Wands, cats on the wands flying through the air. That's amazing because they're witches, right? 8 of Whiskers. This is interesting because this looks like this cat is actually going to go into the water. Usually we see it going up into the mountain, right? But in any case, it represents going into that inner journey. It feels like you're going on a quest, like spiritual quest, if that makes sense. And in this case, it kind of feels like going into the water, which symbolizes, you know, your emotions, your soul, the depths of your soul, but also intuition. It feels like it's really appropriate, actually. So this cat is definitely going to jump into it, or if nothing else, it's going to reflect on, you know, the past or whatever. So that's really cool. 8 of Claws, really cool. I love that we have the dragonfly here, because the dragonfly represents ultimate transformation, right? And it's transformation of your mind, because they're flying through the air, because you need to transform your mind in order to get out of the situation you are in. So that is very cool. And also I love the crystals here. And then our 8 of Paws is obviously a witch cat who is making tea. I love that. Oh my God. So cute. This deck is so amazing. I love it. I really love it. Okay, so here we have our 9s. 9 of Tails. This is very different, right? So these cats, I feel like the 8 cats are flying before, now having a little rest and reflection before they continue, right? They're almost there, but they needed to stop because it was nighttime. So that's a very simple message, but very effective message. 9 of Whiskers, it feels like the cat from the 2 of Whiskers from before. And now I feel like they don't need anyone else to complete them because they are complete within themselves, which is really, really sweet. And here we have our 9 of Claws. I love these little ghosts here. Oh, that's so cool. So this little cat is very afraid. But if she turn around, you see the ghosts are very kind and happy. And then we have 9 of Paws or 9 of Pentacles, which represents a cat under the mushroom. And I'm thinking if they had in mind the magical mushrooms here, perhaps, I don't know. In any case, this cat looks really happy and content, and considering this is a magical deck, I would say that it probably is related to magical mushrooms, but I'm not going to go there. So whatever you think this relates to, it relates to. Here we have our 10s. Oh, look at that. 10 of Tails is a cat that is very busy with her family, which is amazing because, let's be honest, if you're a parent, you will know that being a parent is very rewarding, of course, but it's also very exhausting, right? It's you can have that burnout happen to you. And I love that it's represented by the cat that is looking after her little kittens, because it is a lot, right? It's a lot of energy you need. And of course, you need to ask for help. Like, that's what 10 of Wands is also about, asking for help, right? It's a lot to deal with, and it's a lot, it requires a lot of energy from you. So yes, you can do it by yourself, but it's going to be easier if you ask for help. 10 of Whiskers, we have this beautiful rainbow. I love that. We have again the infinity symbol. We have the sun and the moon and the little kitten and overflowing emotions. Like, I love that we have that waterfall there, because Ten of Whiskers, yes, it's often related to family and stuff, but at the same time, it can just represent that fullness of emotional satisfaction, I'm gonna say, and the flow of the harmonious emotions. 10 of claws. Oh, I love that we have that. So it has 10 claws on them, and they're kind of astral projecting, which is really cool, actually. I love that. It could also be like, a cat died, because we have the 9 lives cat here as well represented, which could be like they have 9 lives, right? So that's 1 life. I love that. And of course, we have a symbol here for something that I'm not sure about, but in the guidebook is 100% explained. And then we have 10 of paws. I love that. They're like all sharing, and they're all really happy. Again, we have sun and the moon, which is like very balanced. The family, the abundance, the happiness. And they're sharing, like they're probably teaching their kittens. You can see here, they're putting their paws up, so they're teaching their kittens something. So that also talks about that inheritance, not only of physical things, but also of tradition and of knowledge from the elders, right, that came before you. Beautiful. Now, one thing I noticed is that literally all the apprentices here, if you look at them, they all look the same, just different colors, and they have different paws, which is the only thing about this deck that was a bit like, they just copy-pasted. But at the same time, like, at least yeah, that's apprentice or page, right? I love them, though. Like, even though they have the same faces, just different, colorations of cats, and their paws differently, and they're dressed a bit differently. No, actually, they all have the thing over as well. And they all have the cauldrons. So they're all learning, right? They're all learning. But again, there is like a similarity to all the pages, so that maybe that was unintentionally, I don't know. So here we have, I just realized there's connection to our aces. Oh, that's amazing. Let me find them. Okay, that's great. So let's see. So here we have sunflower and the salamander, like in the ace, which is amazing. And here we have we have the star. Yeah, we kind of have like that water type of feel that was in the ace, which is cool. And here, see, we have the feathers, right, which is amazing. Do we have any other plants? No. And then here we have the same flowers. Yes, amazing. I love that. I love it when authors connect aces to pages visually. That's amazing. So these all pages speak about, practicing, learning, expanding, enthusiasm. They have wide eyes. They're all really keen to learn, all in their different suits, right? And it's really, really lovely. I love that. And of course, colors, right? It's color coded, which is great. I can see that we have that through the whole through all the suits of court cards. So the apprentices all looked kind of similar, and here we have witches. They also kind of look similar, right? But that's kind of cool, like I said before, because they share the quality of, so the pages are the ones that are learning, they're curious, they want to explore, and the witches are actually the ones that are doing things. So they all have a broom, and the broom of fire, broom of water, broom of feathers, and broom of herbs here, which is really cool. They all have the same symbol on their hats. They all have the hats on. They are color coded, like I said before. This one has a dragon. Oh my god, how cool. And it's in that desert. This one is in the clouds, this one's in the water, and this one is in her garden. How cool. Witches are the knights, right? Do I see that this one is more impulsive and this one is more grounded and slow? A little bit, because here we have the wind blowing around, right? And do I see this one is emotionally more deep and she's bringing gifts? Yeah, we have gifts here on the floor, right? And we have water at the back. Do you see that this one is very explosive? Yes, because I have an explosive broom here and I have the dragon. So they do bring those qualities with them, even though they are in the same physical position. You need to look at other different things in the cards, if that makes sense. And I'm gonna now put kings and queens, or crones and what are they? Crones and sages together. So again, we see the same thing happening. We see that the positioning of the characters is kind of the same. So for crones and for the sages. But I love how they fit together really beautifully. Like you can see they're a pair. I also really like the fact that we can see that the sage is more masculine looking, so it's very easy to distinguish which one is the king and which one is traditionally the queen if you want to go that way. But you don't have to, which is another thing. You don't have to. This could also be the female looking cat if you decide to see it that way, which is great. I love how the Queen of Wands has a sun here, and how the King or Sage here has like more mature looking things. So it has like the mature as in the most, what you get the most from the plants, right? Which is the seeds, which is amazing. So we have corn here, and we have the, what is that? I think it's wheat. Oh my God, he has the doll here. But I feel like it's more on the lighter side than we had it before, when the doll was being stabbed in the Five of Swords. And if you look at the water signs, the water court cards here, the crone is, she is creating, right? Which is amazing, because the queens are the creators, just like the empresses. So if you look at all the crones, they're all creating. Do you see that? They're all creating. They're all manifesting. They're all doing things. And the kings are also kind of doing things, but in a more calm and controlled way. I hope that makes sense. It's very interesting how we have pumpkins here and lots of abundance in the water suit. And here in the earth suit, we have lots of flowers. And look, see, here is blooming. The flowers are blooming. And here it's the last stage of flowers, which is then seeds and the fruits and stuff, which is really cool. And here, look, the flowers have the buds and they're growing. And here they're fully grown. Amazing. I really like that. You can see the progression. And here the pumpkins are, like, I feel also kind of in that growth stage, and the candles and the potions, and here things are done and you're now enjoying your pumpkin spice coffee. Oh man, it's really cool. And I love, look, the butterfly here in the crone with the queen, and she has a triple, the queens, all of them apart from this one have a triple goddess on them. This one has just the middle one, which is the mother, right? Which is interesting, because she is connected the most, I feel, from all the queens. The Queen of Pentacles is the most connected to the mother archetype. Does that make sense? So all the cards in this deck have these little tiny symbols that are so important. And if you're open to exploring the cards, you're going to find so many details. And I can't go in all the details right now, but because I could stay here for 3 hours. But I love this deck. Okay, so I'm going to just shuffle the cards for you to see how they shuffle, and then I'm gonna pull a card for you to see. Okay, so let's go. So here we have, what is the message for our viewers right now? So you can see how they shuffle very lovely overhand. Unfortunately, I cannot show you how they riffle shuffle, because even though I see myself as quite a good riffle shuffler, I couldn't do these cards because they would break. They're too thick. Oopsie. I love the backs of these cards as well. Okay. All right. So we have Ace of Tails. So that's where we are. Ace of Tails, and what we should do with that inspiration, what we should do with that newfound passion inside of us. So what should we do with that? Let's pick one more card. Oh, Nine of Whiskers. So really let that passion overtake us. Is that the word? Take over. And feel it in our body. And enjoy it. What is going to come from that enjoyment? What is going to be the outcome? Let's see. Oh, nice. Apprentice of Whiskers. Let me read you the Apprentice of Whiskers, so you just get a feel for the court cards and how they read from the book. It's cool because we have fire and water, which is alchemy, right? Fire and water and alchemy with Apprentice. I think they're at the very end, yeah. So here, if you want to read it by yourself. There. Okay, so it says, meaning prospects, wonder, potential, message. Initiate your intuitive passions. Keywords: intuition, exploration, horizons. Element: water. Personality: novice, potential, initiation. Bubbling with pure potential, this kitty apprentice stands over her cauldron, ready for splash of magical mischief. Clothed in her robe, she embodies fresh beginnings and imaginative quests, fueled by whisker-twitching curiosity. The cauldron bubbles with a vision of possibilities, while her book of water magic reveals secrets of intuition and a map of new adventures. She's surrounded by scattered seashells, which represents wisdom, potions, which represents transformation, and seaweed, which represents growth. The Apprentice of Whiskers invites you to tap into your creative feelings and let your emotions flow. This card encourages you to embrace your inner child and approach life with a sense of playfulness and openness, letting your imagination take the lead. Allow your heart to guide you and trust your instincts, just like our adventurous little kitten. Consider journaling your creative ideas, doodling or engaging in a fun project. Surround yourself with supportive friends who inspire you, and don't hesitate to express your feelings. Remember, every grand adventure starts with a single whisker twitch into the unknown. Isn't that great, with the Ace of Trails as well, and the Nine of Whiskers of like enjoyment and basking in that flow of abundance that is around you? Oh my god, it's snowing outside. Yay! Okay. And now, like I promised you, I'm just going to show you real quick the other two decks. The Witch's Shadow Work Oracle is amazing. Like, it's a very, very, very great deck for shadow work. And the Unicorn's Path Oracle deck is very spiritual, but at the same time very grounded. I'm gonna admit that I worked with the shadow one a bit more because of the time of the year, because it's winter. But yeah, they're on the same cardstock as the Witch's Cat Tarot. So you can't riffle shuffle them, but you can overhand shuffle them. So they are really deep, like a very different two decks. So if I talk about the Witch's Shadow Work Oracle first, it is a very, very good deck. It gives you practices how to deal with whatever shadow you are facing. It is very gentle art and a very intuitive art there as well. It has a lot of white space, so it gives you that space it allows you to feel safe in whatever shadow you're going through, if that makes sense. The guidebook is really, really well written, and there are suits within the cards as well. So it talks about the suits at the beginning. So you have them. So we have how many? I think you have 5. So part 1, the natural world. Then you have the dream world, the imagined world, and the invisible world. I wish there was numbers on the cards, so it would be a bit easier to find them, but it's not too bad. So for example, the bad child, you have the bad child asks, how did your parents respond to your bad behavior? So you really dive deep into a childhood trauma in this deck, I feel. So you have also the mantra, you have how to work with the card, what's happening in the cards, and then you have your exercise that helps you go through that shadow. And then with the Unicorn Path Oracle deck, I think you also have suits. You have 4 suits. So the unicorns of music, the unicorns of art, the unicorns of poetry, and the unicorns of science, and they all have different color borders within the inside. And they are different unicorns that have different messages. So we have titles on every card. We don't have numbers. I wish there were numbers on top here so it would be easier to find it again. That's something that I always like to see in my Oracle decks, the number, just because it's easier to see. And also you can, if you want to, if you are creative, you can then connect it to numerology as well. But yeah, these 2 decks are really lovely. The unicorns, I actually worked without the guidebook, but it is a really good guidebook. So the Crown of Life unicorn. Let's look at this one. So it is the Unicorn of Music, the Crown of Life, 42. So let me just show you 42. So we have the card, we have affirmation, I trust my intuition and let spirit bring the divine into my life. the Crown of Life unicorn. So that makes sense because intuition and then connected to the crown chakra. I think if you take your time, you can go quite deep within the imagery as well and ask yourself what different things on the image mean to you. It is a quite busy deck, I'm going to say. It is collage, I would say. I think it's collage. And then we see here we have the entry. So if you want to read it. But yeah, it is a lovely deck. And yeah, I am looking forward to working with both of these decks. I have to thank again Watkins Publishing for sending me all these decks. I am so excited to work with them and continue working with them because they are all very different, which I love. So the unicorn's path feels very connection to happy inner childlike world, whilst the witch's shadow work oracle feels like connecting to the traumas, the unprocessed traumas that we all have, different ones, different levels of trauma, of course, for everybody, but we all have certain traumas that we need to look at, or different parts of ourselves that perhaps we pushed away. And then for our tarot deck that I went through, it is such a delight to work with. I can use it for any type of readings, actually, I noticed, which is amazing because that to me means that it is an all-rounder, and I can use it for my clients, I can use it for my personal readings, I can use it for whatever type of reading. So yeah, I'm very, very excited and very, very grateful. So yes, I'm gonna leave you at that. I hope that you enjoyed these reviews. Tell me in the comments below, do you have any of these decks? And if you do, what do you feel about them? How do you use them? Which one speaks to you the most and why? And yeah, I will see you again soon. Bye bye.